We're going to be applying the patterns of pelvic stability and proper breathing techniques to some very common weightlifting positions to make sure that everything that we've learned with this body weight exercise, with these very gentle progressions, applies when you get back to the gym and doing some weightlifting without injuring ourselves, without getting a setback. This module is applying the pelvic stability cues, core stability cues, breathing into returning to weightlifting. Okay, so this is something that can be risky if you're early in your journey, but it's something that we need to do because we need to lift weights in daily life. Even if you don't consider yourself an athlete, you're more athletic than you think. We got to lift groceries, we got to lift kids, and those of us that get a great benefit from going to the weight room, we have to get back to it without leaving the cues that have really helped us in our recovery. Okay, so our first exercise is going to be the squat. And so we're using a kettlebell here, a fairly light one. So Willie, let's go ahead and pick that up on the handles on each side. So I'm going to have you pick it up. I'm going to have you pick it up so that when you pick it up, like with the thumbs on the inside, you're going to bring your hips down. Now squeeze your core. Bring that kettlebell directly into your chest. Okay, so now as we stand up, we're going to hold the kettlebell here. So that gets the weight really out of the arms in a way and into the hips. So our first type of squat is we're going to bring the feet. There's lots of ways to be successful in squat. This is the way we're going to do it for pelvic stability. Okay, keep those feet completely parallel, going straight ahead. So Willie, turn those toes in a little more. Even though they might look mostly parallel, you gotta watch out for the alignment of the center of your foot, the center of your knee, into the center of your hip joint. Now, keep that weight hugged in, okay? And then you're gonna find the front of your core, lifting up, and then you're going to lower down into your squat. The knees bending forward, the sit bones reaching down towards the heels. And so allow those knees to go forward. So Willie, you feel that tightness right there? That's the bottom of your squat. And then stand back up, driving through the heels and through the toes. So if you're still working on a good body weight squat, I would recommend focusing there for a few more weeks, then revisiting weight. So we're just going to do a few more reps here just to show you what to do. But we've got more work to do here on body weight squats before we really start to lift weights. Okay? So as long as we're safe and we're choosing let's say a reasonable weight, it should be okay, and we're paying attention to our pelvic stability. The sit bones drawing underneath you, the low abs lifting up. We're spreading the toes, pushing into all 5 toes at once. And then let's talk about breathing. We're inhaling as we're lowering into the position. We're exhaling, pushing down through the floor, lifting all the way up. So I suggest picking a weight that we can do about 12 to 20 times. So we're training our endurance first before we get to a load that is too hard to do 5 or 6 times. Try one more for us, Willie. Tailbone dropping towards the heels, knees going forward, back staying flat. Okay? Awesome. Set that down. And then we're going to get into our next motion, which is a deadlift. So you're going to bend your knees and your hips and bring your back parallel to the ground. That's excellent. So then the focus is here on the head, the chest, the tailbone. They're all staying in the straight line. And then you're going to stand up, pressing the pelvis forward. Exactly. Okay? Now this motion is great. It's the same thing as the hip hinge we did earlier in our program. We're going to inhale the entire way down. The hips go back, the chest goes forward. Driving through the balls of the feet and the heels, press the pelvis forward, lifting the weight. Okay? So then here in this position, you're feeling how the pelvis slides back on your inhale. We're hugging the left and right sides of the pelvis together. Exhaling, coming all the way up. Okay? 2 more repetitions as we're focusing on the inhale, the pelvic floor expands, the low abs contract the whole way down, and we lift the pelvic floor the entire way up. Excellent. Okay? So then we're gonna have that kettlebell in one hand. So have that kettlebell in the right hand. We're gonna put the left foot forward. We're gonna have the left hand behind the back. okay? And then we're gonna slowly lower the pelvis and the weight down towards the floor and pressing through the ground, standing straight back up. Excellent. So in this position here, we are allowing the right knee to bend. Most of the work is in the front leg. So here we're focusing on reaching the left sit bone towards the ground as we're stabilizing the low pelvis. This hand on the low back is keeping our pelvis dropping. Give it one more here on this side, and then we'll switch sides. Okay, now we're going to switch hands and switch feet. So the emphasis here is, again, on the sit bone. And you should set up your feet so that as you bend the knee, that you're able to keep your chest and your pelvis and your head in a straight line going all the way down towards the floor. So go ahead and lower the weight, and you're keeping the chest and the pelvis all in one long column. So if you notice that your back arches as you go forward, you have to firm up the front. That's excellent. The pelvis stays directly underneath you, and that takes pressure off of the sacrum and low back. Let's give them 2 more at home. We're inhaling the entire way down. We're exhaling the entire way up. And 1 more. Okay, feeling that strength through the feet and that pressure through the heel helps engage the back of the leg. Okay, let's set that down. And so after our weightlifting session, it's always good to check in with the body, check in with the breathing, and as you're standing here, just kind of feeling the pressure through the feet, you're lengthening up through the head, the ribs drop, and feeling how that breath helps those pelvic muscles come back to baseline after your weightlifting, so that you don't return to your other activities in the day with extra tightness. Okay, so let's continue to integrate pelvic floor exercise into even upper level weightlifting and athletics.